These are mini log cabins. I have cabin fever. Sorry, I've got to get comfortable. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've had a huge influx of new subscribers, so thank you to all of my returning subscribers. I appreciate it. I've had a little incident. So first things first, this is what I'm working on. This is a pre-cut friendly pattern, and before I tell you the name of the pattern, I want to tell you some current events. On the 30th of December, I fell and broke my foot. I've been told to stay off my foot, or use a walking boot, or use a knee scooter. I have been using my knee scooter. I refuse to put the boot on because it causes pain. I have no pain in my foot. I can wiggle all my toes, no pain. I can have full flex of my foot and my toes. I can almost make a circle. It kind of gets rough on this part, but it's my left foot. So I guess you could say that I started out the new year on the right foot. I would love to bring more content to the channel, but everything is such a struggle right now, which really makes it hard to sew. I was gonna put borders on it, but after getting up and down, up and down, up and down yesterday, I'm not gonna do that. This is called the Broken Foot Quilt. This is the Broken Foot Quilt block. That's what I'm naming it. And so now I have a little TV tray. I have my foot flat on the floor right now. I'm not supposed to put any weight on it. I've went back to work. So let's jump back. This is again a pre-cut friendly pattern. It is made with jelly rolls. I have 2 currently that I'm using. I really like both of these lines. I don't know if they're still available. How do I make this? I take my strip, my strip of color, and for every 2.5 inch square I cut from it, I also cut a 4.5 inch rectangle. When you are doing this pattern, because you have pinked edges, you want to go ahead and measure your pinked edges to see whereabouts those fall, because not all pre-cuts are created equal. So if you do a little math, I can get 6 full blocks out of each color jelly roll strip. And since there are 42 strips that come in a jelly roll, that would leave you with 252 blocks. So when you're making this quilt, you will have to cut 252 neutral squares for the center of your log cabin. And when I say center, it's the foundation of your log cabin. This quilt will measure. I lucked out because both of my pre-cuts are made by the same manufacturer. So they have the same pinked edge, same dimension, but not all pre-cuts are like that. So you may have to trim up and square up after you get done sewing the block. So like I said, for every one of these that you make, and here's a close-up example, you're going to cut a 2.5 inch square from your jelly roll and a 4.5 inch rectangle from your jelly roll, and then from the neutral you're going to cut a 2.5 inch square. You're going to then sew the 2 squares together, and then sew the bar. And it doesn't matter if you sew it on this edge or this edge, it doesn't matter, either edge. So it goes relatively fast, and there's nothing hard about it. I have this all up on my design wall, and I still have a few blocks that I can't fill in because there's computer stuff sitting in this corner and I can't move it. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to grab these off the design wall and join them together in rows so I don't get them mixed up. Because when you are selecting your jelly roll, you want to make sure that you have at least 20 strips that are, how do I want to say this? 20 different fabrics in your jelly roll. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to lay it out without one touching the other, and you're going to OCD yourself about that, and it's going to take you a long time. So at least 20 strips of different fabrics. The more strips of different fabrics you have, the better off you are in the variety in the quilt. I need to fill in, I set this on point. Okay, you see it's on point. I am going to go ahead and try and fill in the edges by making, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I guess I'm going to cut 3 squares for every block. Sorry, it's jiggling the camera. All right, I have 3 strips cut, and I'm going to go ahead and make my 3 patch. And what I will do is I will lay these out like so. Okay, and then when I sew it, these will become part of a 4 patch, missing this one. And then whenever I go to trim the quilt, we'll put that in there. I think this may be okay. Whenever I trim the edge, I'm gonna have to bring my trimming all the way out here. And I might pre-trim this. That actually might be better for save me some grief trying to lay this on a great big table. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this. So how am I gonna do it? I am going to take my 45-degree angle that runs on my ruler. I'm going to line it up on my straight edge. I'm going to make sure that the 1/4 inch line bisects where all my seams meet here, and then I'm going to trim. Okay, I have laid out my set-in triangles, and I realized instead of cutting squares, I can use my easy angle ruler and I can cut the triangles out, and then that way I won't have any waste on my jelly roll. So you can do it either way, whichever way is easier for you if you have the easy angle, but that's how you set them in, and it will set in also on all the way around. into your machine right at the needle, both this edge and this edge should meet right at your needle. If not, you need to adjust your seam allowance. Mini log cabins. And yes, this was filmed over several days.